keep an eye on DeVonta Smith.
Matt looks long. Touchdown by DeVonta Smith.
A truly special performance by the Heisman Trophy winner.
His third touchdown of the night.
They said the dynasty was over. We don't stop. We just keep reloading.
Roll Tide! What's going on, everybody? Welcome into First Take. How about it, y'all? Alabama, 6 titles in 12 seasons. Nick Saban with his 7th. Joey Galloway, kind enough to join us this morning, even though he can't be happy with the result. Former Buckeye, good to see you, sir. Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman. Guys, there's so much to cover today, so let's just roll right into it. Obviously, Stephen A., you mentioned it off the top. I want to focus on DeVonta Smith. My goodness, unreal, wreaking havoc. 12 catches, 250 yards, 3 receiving TDs in the first half alone. Joey Galloway, you know what that's about, former receiver. But guys, taking a look at Todd McShay's latest mock draft here, Todd has DeVonta going 3rd overall. That's to the Dolphins. No surprise, Jags taking Trevor Lawrence 1st overall. But then Todd has the Jets taking offensive lineman Penei Sewell with the 2nd pick. Stephen A., do you think the Jets should take a wide receiver, go with Smith at number 2?
I'm going to roll with that. And the reason why I'm going to roll with that is because of the, absent Trevor Lawrence, we have looked at the rest of the quarterbacks, Zach Wilson at BYU, obviously Mac Jones, who put on the show last night, 5 TDs, over 400 yards passing, he put on the show. But the bottom line is when you've talked about quarterbacks in the upcoming NFL draft, the surefire bet has been Trevor Lawrence. Outside of that, there's been speculation as to what direction they're going. Joey, I'll defer to you because I've seen these guys play a few times. You're watching them every single week. I defer to you in this regard. What I will say, however, is this. DeVonta Smith, there's no deferring when it comes to that. Everybody can see what this brother can bring to the table. You combine that with what Sam Darnold, the potential that he has, even though he's turnover prone to some degree, when you see some of the upside, and you lament the fact that Adam Gase had been his coach the last 2 years and that the New York Jets have been bereft of talent. If you don't have somebody, a legitimate number 1 to throw the damn football to, then that's going to compromise you as a quarterback. Unless you are completely convinced that Sam Darnold absolutely unequivocally is not the answer, or there's a Trevor Lawrence that you could grab at number 2. I see no reason why, if you have any kind of faith in your quarterback and you got a guy like DeVonta Smith available to you, then you go that route, because this brother was just on another level. He had more yards than the entire Ohio State offense, okay, at one point. This brother just put on an absolute show. And I know Jalen Waddle came back into the lineup, caught about 3 passes for 34 yards. But in the end, everybody and their mother knew DeVonta Smith was going to get the ball. Except for that safety over the top, Joey, that goes in a different direction instead of making sure that he's helping to cover DeVonta Smith. What the hell are you running away from DeVonta Smith for, to cover another receiver, when you're responsible for coverage over the top and you running in a different direction, when you got a safety literally trying to track down, or a linebacker literally trying to track down DeVonta Smith? Made no sense whatsoever, but in the end, again, DeVonta Smith is so special in my eyes. He's worth strong consideration for the number 2 overall pick in the NFL draft.
I don't care how
number
special
1, the
DeVonta
Jets probably
Smith
need
is,
the entire offense.
Very special. My hat is off to DeVonta Smith. He had a great game, and he's totally special. I'm not debating that. You do not take him with the number 2 overall pick if you're the Jets. That's insanity. Guys, Calvin Johnson was very special. He went number 2 overall. He played in 2 playoff games in his career, and he was one of the all-time greats, one of the best ever at his very best. Played in 2 playoff games. You don't take a receiver number 2 unless you got everything, a lot of other stuff in place. The Jets need multiple offensive linemen, multiple linebackers. And honestly, I think they need a quarterback. I thought Sam Darnold would be good. He's still young. It's still not too late. He was the worst starting quarterback in football this year. I mean, let's be honest about that. But if you don't like Justin Fields, if you go, no, I need to see more. I don't believe in him. I don't think he's appreciably better than Sam Darnold, or certainly not a slam dunk, then you have a lot of other holes to fill. You take a more kind of a building block player, or you try to trade down for draft capital and get more stuff. Look, Why do the Miami Dolphins, would it make sense for the Dolphins to do that? Yeah, sure. Because the Dolphins are drafting third because they have draft capital, because they made trades, not because they were terrible. So do you already believe in Tua? You got a defense, you got a lot of, Devontae Smith makes a ton of sense in Miami. But the Jets are drafting second, not because they planned so carefully and have this draft capital and they have all these things in place, and now an elite receiver will put them over the top. So that's number 1 and 2. You know what number 3 is? I mentioned Calvin Johnson. You know how many guys you can, it's hard to get Aaron Donald or Khalil Mack later on in the draft. Late in the first round, you might get T.J. Watt or Cameron Jordan or someone like that. But those elite playmakers on defense, cornerbacks, defensive ends, those guys really don't get too far down in the draft. Whereas receivers, come on, guys. Think about DeAndre Hopkins, or if you want to talk about Stephon Diggs or Tyreek Hill. These guys go anywhere from late in the first to the 5th round. Look, Devontae Adams, just look around the league. How many wide receivers who are elite and help their team get to a Super Bowl were taken in the top 5? Julio Jones? Who else? No, not for the New York Jets. As great as Devontae looked yesterday, that would be a mistake by the Jets.
Max, I was with you right up until you made it sound like the receivers aren't important. I think you make a lot of good points there. But you also said how much the Jets are missing and then said Sam Darnold isn't good. We don't know how good Sam Darnold can be because of the other pieces that are missing. You can't take a young quarterback and throw him in a situation with a team that is missing a lot of pieces and then judge that quarterback on his inabilities and what he's been able to accomplish. Now, I do believe, and believe me, I love receivers, and I think we're extremely important. I think that we deserve to be in the first round. But there are so many things that have to go right for your offense on every single play before a receiver can help you out. Your offensive line has to be good. Your running backs have to be good. Your quarterback has to do the right thing, read the right coverages. The play call itself has to be good before a receiver can make a difference for your offense. If I'm the Jets, number one, I'm going to try to get the entire offense of Alabama because they are terrific. So many playmakers on that offense. But I would be thinking more like a Penei Sewell. From what I've heard, as good as Devontae Smith is, Penei Sewell is just that good at tackle. So there are a lot of pieces you can get in this draft, and there's a ton of really good receivers that you can get in this draft. I just think with that number 1 pick, you talk about offensive tackle and how important that position is in football because of the pass rushers like Khalil Mack out there that you got to worry about. You got to get that offensive line together before you can ever judge Sam Darnold.
Joey, I never said receivers aren't important. They're very